Hello again. This is your show, What in the Health? And we have again Mr. Joe Day. Joseph, how are you, sir?
Good morning, George. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Again.
Again.
So today, we are going to bring information about a very, some way unclear topic, okay? What is Medicare Part C?
George.
Medicare Part C.
That seems so complicated, right? You
Right.
get so many questions every day.
Yeah.
I had $1 for every time someone called me and tried to explain it to them. Here's the thing, George. Medicare Part C is a combination of A, B,
C,
and
D. Exactly. But
Simple.
what is Part C?
Part C is what is commonly referred to as Medicare Advantage.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Now, specifically, Joe, whenever you talk about a Part C plan, right? Mm-hmm. So let's go back a little bit. So specifically, if you turn 65 today, what's happening when you turn 65 today?
Turning 65 today, you need to have Part A and Part B.
Okay.
So the rest of the process, but that's only half. That's only half of it.
That's the beginning.
That's the beginning.
Exactly.
So that's where Part C comes in, and really Part D.
But most of the time, you know what is the A, B, C, D of Medicare, right? Like, for example, specifically, if let's say I am 65 today and I work, how long do I have to be working in order to have Part A? Because if I'm not mistaken, you have to have how many credits to get Part A for free, Joe?
40 credits.
40 credits.
Yeah.
So that is equivalent of how many years of working?
10 years.
10 years. Because every year that you pay taxes for Medicare, you get how many credits?
4
credits. So if you work 10 years and you get 4 taxes every year that you pay taxes for Medicare, you get your 40 credits, you get your Part B for free, right?
Part A for free.
Part A for free. I'm sorry, Part A for free. Now, the Part A is specifically entitles a person for what?
That's hospital.
That's the hospital.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do whenever you don't have Part B?
You have to enroll in Part B.
There you go. And most of the time, people don't know that, right?
Realize that.
They don't realize that. They
penalized.
thinking that Part B is automatic. And then whenever, I didn't know I have to have Part B. Hey, by the way, you were supposed to enroll. How long before you have to enroll in Part B, Joe?
3 months.
So specifically, whenever you turn 65, you work your credits, you have your Part A hospital, hey, I didn't know I have to enroll into Part B because, hey, I thought that thing was automatic, or I thought my job was going to enroll me to that. So whenever you enroll, whatever way you enrolled, okay, and Part A, and you now have the Part B, okay, what is the purpose of the Part C?
So Part C, Jorge, just kind of combines... Well, it does a lot, actually.
Okay.
Part C is kind of an overlay of A, B, and D. However, there's a lot of benefits that you can get with Part C that you cannot get with A or B alone.
Okay.
Or even D, such as dental, vision, hearing, maybe a gas card, or help with utilities, or healthy living, or gym membership.
So, will you say that the Part C... Like Part you said before, is the Medicare Advantage access, right?
Correct.
But in reality, the Part C is that extra benefit that Medicare traditional will not cover, right?
Correct.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Part C, as in Charlie, includes also the Part D for the drugs.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, in these plans that we have right now, Joe, and again, hey, I'm turning 65. I'm used to be free of whatever choices I want to have in my job, okay? Because my insurance at my job give me all the hospitals, all the doctors, and all the medications with restrictions, right? So these Part C plans, the majority of them, what is it? What's going on with them?
Part C, like restrictions?
Yes.
I mean, Part C, you'll find a traditional HMO or a PPO, like people are used to, just like people are used to with their employers.
Yeah.
Right? An HMO or a PPO. And Part C will let you choose your doctors and however you need
and literally Part C is like the replacement of that cover of traditional
absolutely.
Medicare, right? So specifically for those that are actually asking or wondering, what is a Part C? Medicare Advantage is the same. Medicare Advantage and Part C plans are the same, exactly the same. They're Medicare replacement plans that will pretty much pick up everything that you were supposed to get or pay with traditional Medicare. But at the moment that you choose a Medicare Part C plan or a Medicare Advantage plan, which again are the same, you guys will be able to get to these extra benefits and to get pretty much these other doctors or medications that you will pretty much have to be paying extra. You have everything combined into one plan. Now, Joe, like you mentioned, they're HMOs and they're PPOs, right? Yeah. So how much do I pay? Because by the way, if you turn 65 today and you go with Medicare, okay, the Part B has a premium, correct?
Correct.
So that premium, how much is it today, Joe?
$165.
$164.10. I'm going to subtract some points in your test today. Okay, I'm just kidding. But 2023, the established premium for Medicare through the government is $164.10, right? So that means that your check, whatever check you're going to get every month because you're retired, okay, if you decide to go with Medicare, okay, Medicare, the Social Security will draft $164 every month out of your check, and they will deposit into your bank account the difference. Now, having this Part A and having this Part B is what a person is entitled or known as traditional Medicare. As traditional Medicare, this member will have to pay specifically the deductibles. That's right, Joe, right? Mm-hmm. Now, these deductibles, when you paid, okay, and you don't have nothing, think about it that we're talking about a person that is only on traditional Medicare. So I don't choose a plan, I don't have a prescription drug plan, but boom, I go to the hospital the second day that I got eligible for Medicare. I have to pay what? My deductible, correct? How much is my responsibility, Joe? If I am on traditional Medicare and I go to the hospital, how much is what you are supposed to pay specifically?
$600.
No, it's the 20%. Remember, because Medicare will cover 80%, and you will have to.
I didn't have any coffee this morning, so.
No, it's okay. So I'm trying to go, like I said, so that way our friends that are listening to the podcast pretty much understand what is the puzzle of Medicare. So let's say, for example, again, I don't choose a plan. I am just on the umbrella of traditional Medicare. Yeah, original Medicare, well,
right?
That's
unlimited 20%.
Unlimited 20%.
Yeah, over and over and over.
Exactly. And like you said, over and over and over. So meaning, if I go to the hospital today, I have to pay the deductible plus 20%. I go to the hospital in a month, I will have to pay again the deductible
20%.
plus the 20%.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what people sometimes don't understand, that having a Medicare plan, a Part C plan, or a Medicare supplement plan will pretty much prevent those higher costs. Yeah. And that's why Joe said these HMO plans or PPO plans will pretty much come handy, because your cost then will be specifically set to certain co-payments, like, for example, that Joe said $600. Well, $600 is a little higher, but some of the plans in our markets give you a hospital stay for a flat co-payment, or some of the plans give you a co-payment per day. Hey, you know, if you're suited for a plan that is pretty much with freedom of choice, like a PPO plan, you're going to have a higher co-payment or co-share. But if you go with an HMO, because your doctors are in network, more likely your cost will be lower, and you pretty much will having to pay lower co-payments as well. So, Joe, talk about a prescription drug plan under the Part C coverage.
So, a Part C coverage will combine a Part D.
Okay.
So we're talking about A, B, C, and D, right?
Correct.
Part D is the drug coverage of Medicare, but a prescription drug plan is often combined in the Part C as well.
Absolutely.
And so that's going to be your traditional: go to your pharmacy, pay your copay,
yes,
and get your drug.
And once again, the most, let's say, vital part on every single person that is turning 65 is retiring from their job, okay? They have to do the math, because they have to understand that if what they have today with their job, most of the time you're going to have those companies that they're pretty good companies, or because you're tenured with them, working 10, 15, 20 years, they will say, you know what, Joe, you're going to about to retire. You know what? You're such a good employer for us for so many years. What we're going to do is we're going to let you stay in our group coverage. However, your cost will be this much, right? So you have to put in a scale and say, okay, If I go with traditional Medicare, I'm going to pay $164, which is pretty much my premium for Part B. But if I go with my job, I'm going to probably pay $200-$300 every 2 weeks or every month, whatever the case might be. If these $200-$300 or this higher amount that you're going to be deducted from your check, okay, it's going to be worth to have a much better access for what you get with Medicare, meaning you're not going to have a restriction on doctors. You're going to have pretty much everything covered at a $0 copayment, or perhaps your deductibles are zero. Hey, that might be a good choice to go. However, my friends, the problem is that whenever you're turning 65 and you're under the umbrella of a group coverage, these costs, this premium for access to the service under the group insurance are stupidly high. And sometimes the members, it's actually on the best interest of the member to get a program, a plan under Medicare traditional or on a Medicare Advantage or a Medicare supplement, because the cost, believe it or not, is actually half of what you will pay if you continue with your group insurance. And that's what is important to understand, Joe. Like, for example, for people that are retiring for their job, or they're turning 65, to understand the choice that I'm going to go with is going to be worth the cost and the money if I continue with my group insurance, right?
Correct. And that's something that someone like myself, I can sit down and help you with. A lot of people think just because they call me that I'm going to try to talk them into a plan, right? I want, at the end of the day, what's best
for the member,
the individual.
Absolutely.
So whether that's staying with group coverage or switching over.
And like you said, you're right. You know, so most of the time, the majority, and believe me when I'm saying it's true, the majority of group insurance are expensive compared to what you will pay with Medicare. Again, don't get me wrong. There's some cases that are out of the norm. Companies like the post office, or entities, like the post office or the city of Houston, or what is the other one, the TRS. These programs are pretty much established by the unions that they have, and usually they're rich on the benefits and lower cost. And some of these folks, believe it or not, they will pretty much have a much better access for services compared to Medicare. But again, at the end of the day, they say, you know what, I cannot continue paying this much money. Now, after 7 or 5 years that I got into this group insurance, now I'm 70 years old, I'm going to get a different plan. Those folks still have the option to choose a plan that go along with their needs, and pretty much they will be able to pay less. So with that being said, Joe, we agree that a Part C plan will pretty much be ideal for somebody that basically, you know, get into traditional Medicare, right?
Absolutely.
Now, what about the drugs? Sometimes drugs are expensive. So what do you think about the Part C and those drugs that are expensive, Joe?
The drugs that are expensive, such as maybe either on Enbrel, right? Okay. Those are typically a higher tier drug. But there's a lot of there's some options out there to help cover the price of drugs.
Absolutely, and those are the plans that you were mentioned before, like for example the extra help if you qualify for, or the Medicare saving programs if you qualify for, right? Yeah. So the most important thing here, folks, is like again understanding that if you're retiring today, if you're turning 65, don't do the mistake of just going with whatever option you have in front of you. Just please get in touch with a local agent like Joe, myself.
Hopefully before they retire.
Before they retire. There you go.
I want to talk to you 3 months before you
retire. Because what you said is true. The majority of the cases that we face is like, oh, okay, I didn't know I have to do that 3 months before, or I didn't know I have to do this before I retire. And the issue lands because they already have the penalty, and it happens to me, and I'm sure it happens to you, Joe, that they think because they're now enrolling into a plan, that penalty is going to go away. And unfortunately, that penalty, it is forever, unless they qualify for any type of assistance or any type of low-income programs, if it's available one in their area. With that being said, my friend, if anybody wants to get in touch with Joe Day, Joseph Joe Day, what is the phone number that they can reach out to?
George, my number is 832-304-9713. Call me, text me.
Once again, what's the phone number?
832-304-9713.
With that being said, my friends, that was Joe Day, your agent at JWB Insurance Group. I am so happy to have this guy in our team. He's one of those persons that will go above and beyond for the members. And I'm sure if you happens to have the luck to come across to Joe, you guys will be pretty much in some excellent hands that basically will take care of whatever needs you have. And also the information that he will provide will be the most accurate one. With that being said, Joe, thank you so much again for being here in the cabin. And again, until next time, your show, What in the Health?